6:13, welcome back. Thursday morning here on BT. Live shot there from Century Plaza Hotel and Spa. It's time to celebrate our community and celebrate our game all over again. The hockey season is soon to be upon us, so we called upon Ron MacLean. Woke up early for us. Good morning to you, Ron. We are talking about the Rogers Hometown Hockey Tour, which is coming back in full swing. Tell us about what Season 1 was and how this is going to evolve in Season 2 and bringing the game to the communities.
Well, Riaz, nice to talk to you again. This year, Season 2, we're going on Sportsnet for the 24 Sundays, so that's a little bit of a new wrinkle in terms of programming. But, you know, the thing I learned last year, Riaz, is right away in Burnaby, we had John Batchelor, coach of the AAA Burnaby Winter Club, join us, and that was what really stood out for me. Doug Corman's a AAA coach in Thompson, Manitoba, John Goyens in Montreal, Lac St. Louis Lions. We got a chance to meet all the, call them Harry Neals, Pat Quinns, the great coaches from the National Hockey League, only in the midget AAA version, the guys who sort of sell the dream, and what a highlight it was to meet all those folks.
And you make this game so accessible to the young players, to the young fans out there, and I think I like that the most, the personal touch of seeing the eyes light up of all of the fans. Are we going to see more of the stars, more of the alumni joining you on tour this year and bringing the game to the fans in the small town communities?
You know, absolutely, it's a good point. Stars, too, because like the first weekend we're in Kitchener-Waterloo. That's Thanksgiving weekend for the launch of Season 2 of Rogers Hometown Hockey. Ed Robertson and the Bare Naked Ladies will perform. Daryl Sittler, like Lanny McDonald, joins us at a lot of the tour stops. Daryl will be in Kitchener-Waterloo. But we have Chris Hatfield, the astronaut, will be in Sarnia. We have Heather Moyes, the bobsledder, in Summerside, PEA. Matt Stairs, Great Toronto Blue Jay, will be in Fredericton, New Brunswick. So there's always a neat mix of some people who just are so grateful to be Canadian and have a little connection to hockey, plus, as I mentioned, the grassroots, either coaches or volunteers or referees who make it sing.
And you know, here on a local scale in BC, you were just saying during the break, during Valentine's Day, something special happening in our neck of the woods. How many stops will we have here in our province?
That's the first. It's New Westminster. We'll be there for Valentine's weekend, and we're hoping to, you know, for me, like I was just thinking of Spirit of the West. We all know the story of Spirit of the West. We'll probably acknowledge them in a special. That's going to be a 1-hour broadcast from what I recall. Then we're into Abbotsford. So Jake Virtanen trying out for the Canucks right now. Great 19-year-old right winger. He's from Abbotsford. Then we go into Victoria. And actually with Victoria, Riaz, one story, Richard Loney. We just lost the great anthem singer for the Vancouver Canucks really from day one for a 40-year stretch there. And Richard sang at the 72 Summit Series when he actually learned the Soviet national anthem for that. It was a very famous night, Phil Esposito's speech and the whole bit. But in his passing, I think of Victoria and the Courtnall boys. You know, Steve Nash and the Courtnalls, just great role models for all of us. Their dad, Archie, the Courtnall's dad, used to make the boys stand, all three boys stand during the performance of O Canada by Mr. Richard Loney. So it's one of my favorite thoughts of Richard, and it's certainly, when I think of Bruce and Jeff and Russ, one of my favorite thoughts of the Courtnall. So we'll be in Victoria plus Penticton, so a big BC run starts on Valentine's.
You know, such a powerful sentiment and so many local impressions when it comes to the Vancouver Canucks. You mentioned Jake Virtanen as well. The youth movement needs to happen now for the team. Looking at the entire slew of competition here in the upcoming season, where do you see the Canucks landing? I mean, we've got the core with the Sedins, but, you know, there needs to be a new movement of players.
Yeah, the excitement seems to be obviously around Calgary with Johnny Hockey kind of leading the way. Michel Goulet, who works in their organization, he said he hadn't seen a player in years that could back teams off the way Johnny Gaudreau does with the Calgary Flames. But Edmonton's got Connor McDavid, and the Jets have a great young nucleus too. So Vancouver's got their work cut out. There's no doubt about that. Are
you still standing by the prediction you made earlier this summer, the Oilers winning the Cup in about 2 to 4 years, given the talent they have on their roster?
Yeah, I just think they've added, you know, when Darnell Nurse makes the team, Dougie Hamilton on defense, they have the puck-moving guys to get it to. I mean, they're so deep up front right now. Nail Yakupov has a buddy from his homeland. I cannot imagine a scenario whereby they don't win it. They're just, I remember the old days when the Canucks would be a fine team and they'd be up 6-1 on Edmonton and Gretzky would crank it up and they'd lose 9-6. And I just think the offense is going to be too much for teams to handle. The Hawks and the Kings and Ducks are all class teams, but I just think McDavid is as special as Gretzky was, and that's why I can't see it taking much. It's usually 4 years, the window for Bobby Orr or Mario Lemieux. It took a little bit longer, 7 years. Eric got the Flyers to the Cup in 5 years. That's usually the window, so I see them getting there quick.
So the Canucks clearly have their work cut out for themselves, as do you going across this country, Ron. Final note, we saw your Sportsnet mobile studio last year. We saw the Ron MacLean Man Cave. Anything different you're going to do decor-wise for the Ron MacLean Man Cave all across the country?
No, the only difference is that Tara Sloan will be working every show. Jennifer Bottrell, the great Olympic champion, will still be there. Not, technologically, the only change is Sportsnet versus City, which broadens the reach a little bit because City didn't go always into Atlantic Canada or some of the other regions of the nation. But no, it'll be. And by the way, for the Canucks, if I was going to give you one last thing to hope for, Riaz, it's the fact that Willie Desjardins' hip's out, so they have a great coach, Travis Green, taking the helm for a little bit. Maybe that's like when Harry Neal was suspended and Roger took over. So the only difference is instead of an injured hip, it was an injured quip back in Harry Neal's day. But could be a good sign for Vancouver.
Love the fun facts you always throw out there, Ron. One more time, we're going to show up the map for the Rogers Hometown Hockey Tour. So all in all, how many stops across Canada for the upcoming season?
24, and 22 of them involve Canadian teams. The Vancouver Canucks are on 5 of the broadcasts. They were key for us last year. So John Shorthouse, John Garrett, Dan Murphy were a huge part of the success of season #1, and we'll have them to enjoy again in season 2 for sure.
Can't wait to see it and can't wait to hear more stories, the ones you tell oh so well. Ron MacLean, thanks for doing this morning.